We're the stars of CNN.
I had to try to recreate the pose when that screen cap was kind of like a...
They showed a clip of us on CNN earlier. Sorta, kinda. Did I tell you about the context of it?
You sure did.
Okay.
Because you said it was something about the police department, so I googled Jupiter Police, and it was because that idiot aide of Trump's finally got arrested for grabbing that lady.
Yeah.
And I guess that the next thing on the list is Jupiter Ascending, a midnight review.
Because they were showing the security footage that they were showing of this incident with Donald Trump was off of YouTube. Mm-hmm. And when a YouTube video finishes, it says, up next, this video. So if you were watching CNN earlier, about 4 or 5 times during this, because it looped about 4 or 5 times, it was just midnight screenings, Jupiter Ascending, and us. And I liked looking at a couple of comments on Twitter that had never heard of us. One guy said something like, thanks CNN for reminding me that there was once midnight screenings of Jupiter Ascending.
Technically, I don't think that one was like a midnight screening, but...
Oh, they haven't been that for like 4 years. I think since like Man of Steel.
These were reminding people that Jupiter Ascending was a movie, because you know what, that thing was a delight.
Yeah, maybe like people watching CNN would rather watch Jupiter Ascending than
they could be like, all right, I meant to watch that with the Channing Tatum's like a dog man, right? Mila Kunis controls bees.
I would rather watch that than Allegiant.
Yeah.
So we finally saw Allegiant.
Yeah. I think we could have done without, you know.
Only because we saw the other two.
Only because we saw the previews, which basically laid out the plot of this movie for us.
Every YA movie before this movie laid out the plot for us.
This is very true. And I feel like because they separated the final book into 2 movies, right?
They did.
So this was only the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the only reason they needed 2 movies worth to tell this story was so that they could spend fucking half the movie masturbating over the ingenious futuristic contraptions they've invented for this universe.
I know, right? This society is really weird because technology is fan-fucking-tastic. I don't understand why, like, they can't make, I don't know, things work out. On the one end, it's The Scorch, and on the other, it's like Oblivion with Tom Cruise. Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to the next one.
Why?
Because,
you need to know how it ends.
No, I mean, I could kind of guess that probably, but, like, I love so much that splitting this into 2 movies fucking bit them in the ass.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Because this movie is not doing well at the box office. I think it had $100 million budget or something like that.
Oh no.
My first thought was like, oh, okay, maybe that's $100 million for the 2 movies. Apparently not.
Oh, they had to spend it on the goo shower and the magic memory temples.
The little floaty, like,
and the floaty drones.
Bubbles and
oh yeah, the decontamination bubbles.
And the serum.
And the serum and the camo wall. And David's special car.
So because of this, they're obligated to make the next movie, and they are, but they've slashed the budget in half. So I'm hoping to God, like, the next movie looks like Superman...
Space Mutiny.
Yeah, or like Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, or something like that. Like, Canon Films are gonna come back, and they're gonna make the next part of this fucking series.
Okay, so now I'm excited about the next
I am
installment.
too. I'm like, because this movie at $100 million already looked kind of cheap. So I am so excited to see.
Because you were so fixated on the fucking goo shower. It's like, that technology is at least 10 years old, and they like... I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Is there any getting ahead of yourself in this movie?
That's the fucking goo shower. Out of no context, Trish has to take a goo shower, and it surprises the shit out of her because she thinks it's just like a goo column, and then it just like... So she's making this face directly at the camera. First order crisis, minute and a half, as the goo cleanses her of impurities. And apparently that shit cost $100 million.
Oh, they had to pad it out to like a minute, because they gotta pad this shit out to like 2 hours. Honestly, like, I'll say this over other part ones that I've seen. This felt like more of a whole movie.
Yeah, they actually like had a thing bad that was gonna happen that they stopped.
Yeah.
But like, not having read the book, I wonder how realistic that is. Like how adherent to the book that is. Like,
I
do we
don't
think
know.
that they invented the serum crisis? Do we think that the serum crisis was like towards the end, and they're gonna invent a new crisis for the second movie?
I don't know a single person who's read these books.
I read the first one, and then I read like the first 2 chapters of the second one. And then I'm like,
Done and done. This serum, by the way, God damn, this movie's stupid. There's so much of this shit that doesn't even make sense. Like with this serum that causes them all to lose their memory. Ray Stevenson shows up at one point, and barely breathing any of it at all, he loses his memory. But then at the end, practically the whole city in these vents that are conveniently already set up, the gas goes through the city.
well,
like,
it's the difference between like using an inhaler, which is what Ray Stevenson did, and then we'll come back to him because he didn't just lose his memory. His memory exploded in a fiery collage of ash and embers.
was this in 3D?
For no reason whatsoever. I think it must have been.
'Cause the
like
second
chairs
one
kept
was.
kind of shifting in and out of focus.
Yeah.
And like the exploding ash thing, they like
And the little orb things
Yeah.
flying around him. This is the second one was in 3D. So
so he's got like the inhaler. So yeah, it boofs his memory away expensively and suddenly. But like, it's kind of the difference between using an inhaler and spritzing an inhaler all across the ground. I don't care how orange it is, that shit's not gonna be concentrated enough for it to wipe your memory for at least a couple of weeks.
oh, all right. Well, that takes care of that.
This was my explanation for a really stupid thing that happened in this movie. I mean, it is a reasonable thing to be confused about, but that was my takeaway. It's because it was like misting across the ground.
Yeah, there were people passed out and laying in that shit.
I hope that they lose their memories, because that guy with like the fake mohawk, I really do not like him as a character, and I don't think it's necessary for them to keep making him survive stuff.
This movie, you know, there's some things I enjoyed about this.
Was it Peter?
Miles Teller, God yes.
He's such a dick.
Miles Teller does not give a fuck in this movie, and he's making the most of it, and it's great.
That was the best weird shower I've ever taken.
Wow, it was
So weird, you guys.
It's certainly raining blood right now. Guys, look, I don't know if we should have done this. Hey, come on, like, I just want, like, give me, like, an office or something, like...
Can I just have my bug back?
Yeah, I'll take my old bunk. Like, Miles Teller's level of not giving a shit in this movie is amazing.
Palpable.
He's every scene he's in, it's great, because he joyfully doesn't give a fuck, because it's not so much that he's sleepwalking through it.
No. He just decided his character is the comic relief.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was meant to be. Because everyone else is acting like super serious, and he's like, hey guys, I'm still an asshole.
Yeah, just every now and then.
What? I don't want to be a typist.
I don't want to be a typist.
David, can we talk tomorrow? Okay.
All right,
Catch you later,
David,
Bubby.
tomorrow, look, we'll schedule a thing, all right?
Listen, Bubby, I'm your white knight.
Yeah, he's Ellising in this movie.
He's Ellising the shit out of this movie.
I negotiate $1 million deals. Think I could handle this bit of Eurotrash? Frequency talks, huh? Yeah, he's... And so many people in this movie also don't give a shit.
Nope.
Like, not to the amazing level of Miles Teller, who's just, he's like Chevy Chase in Caddyshack 2. He's practically like, well, I got a thing. All right, let me just walk over here now. Like, Jeff Daniels could...
Yeah, no. Like, it's at the beginning when you were supposed to, like, kind of think that maybe he's a good guy. I think that he was playing along, at least to the level where you could think, yeah, all right, this guy's kind of trustworthy. But then at the end, when he was basically, like, Gladys in the end of Portal, just like crawling the walls and telling her, "Oh, stop, turn back. There's no way. How could you possibly?
God
I
damn.
control everything. It's futile what you're doing right now." That's like the timbre of his voice when he was doing that.
And yeah, like, I understand, like, casting Jeff Daniels in that sense, because when you look at Jeff Daniels, you don't think bad guy. In fact, like, it's very rare I've seen him play a bad guy in something. So it's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But when the movie literally ends with Jeff Daniels giving the shifty eyes, giving the shifty eyes behind them, because they have this security system in this movie, which means they can just go anywhere and watch any part of the movie going on. Doesn't matter if there's really any cameras or anything set up or anything like that. They know where everyone is, and they can go to it, and they can watch it from any angle that they fucking want.
And the way that the effect is set up is it's like squares of footage. And so you have to assume that what they're getting at is that each square that is like flashing with like kind of different tones and stuff is a separate camera, and it's piecing together those images to make like a surround sound virtual reality dealio. So it's not just a camera that's on them, it's literally hundreds of cameras at all times.
Yeah.
So you'd think you'd bump into one eventually.
Or maybe, like, not have them everywhere. There are several...
Very important that they have their future technology.
What the fuck? Like, this is one of those movies where everyone speaks so fast and gives such dipshit explanations that they're doing it so quickly, so you don't have time to stop and think about how dumb everyone in this fucking movie is.
We got time now, though, and so much is occurring to me, like, as we're talking.
Oh, you mean like at the beginning where I'm like, don't go to the fucking Scorch. Just stay in fucking Chicago. Yeah, it's the fucking Scorch.
Now I'm thinking more along the lines of why, experimentally speaking, why does it make sense to separate them into factions in order to make a child that's going to be well-rounded enough to be pure genetically speaking? So basically the big reveal in this movie is that human beings advance genetic modification technology to the point where they kind of destroy themselves from the genome up. And so that like the small group, like I guess what, they didn't come out right and say it, but I guess the pure humans and the genetically modified humans had a war that ended up just like nuking the planet, except for Providence, Rhode Island. And so then the purebloods decided they were going to try to figure out this experiment, this was Chicago, to make the damaged humans make pure, unmodified babies.
That's why Jeff Daniels is there, because in Dumb and Dumber, they were from Providence.
Oh my god. So they've got Chicago, and they're like stealing children out of the Scorch, blasting them with the memory serum.
That is on them for getting caught doing that shit. Why the fuck would you bring fucking 4 with you when you know he's probably gonna have a problem with the fact you're kidnapping children from fucking Fury Road?
Is why are you kidnapping children? Because apparently Triss's mother, right, was the only one out of all the stolen children who decided to go to Chicago. So that means that what they're doing is they're stealing children to support this civilization that's just slightly away from Chicago, whose it seems entire purpose is to watch Chicago have babies. What other purpose does that civilization serve?
The fact they don't have TVs anymore and they need some entertainment.
But they just watch Chicago. They watch Chicago and they steal babies. And that is the only thing this culture does. And meanwhile, Chicago's in charge of having like well-rounded babies. And the way they've decided to achieve this is by separating them into social groups that are very much the same personality trait, thus ensuring that you're not going to have well-rounded babies. So this is like the dumbest plan. If you wanted to make a plan that was dumb, specifically, this is the plan that you would make.
This is a movie that's so unsubtle that one of the groups is called The Damage.
The And the pure.
The pure and the damage. Like, slow it the fuck down, YA novel. Fuck. Just so you can have a character on there like, it's okay, it doesn't matter that you're damaged. It's fine.
They give him little tattoos, and the tattoos will only let you in a door if you're pure. Mm-hmm. And if you're not, it goes, meh, damaged.
Yeah, so Purity Bush from Screwballs can... Wait.
Have you been sitting on that one, or did it just now occur to you?
I think about Screwballs a lot. That's...
This movie is now, its existence has now been validated because you got to make a Screwball joke.
It's not... Oh, I can make a joke about anything. It's just... pretty much any movie I could probably link to Screwballs somehow. That's a classic. Come on, it's better than this movie.
You showed me Screwball. I thought it was dumb but watchable.
No, yeah. So good. In case you don't know, there's a character in the movie that's named Purity Bush.
Purity Bush.
Don't worry, there's other characters named Melvin Jerkovsky. Guess what he likes to do?
Is it Jerkovsky?
No, he likes to give people the Melvin.
Is that like the Blumpkin?
Probably.
It's like James Bond female character bad.
What, Purity Bush?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be in the Roger Moore era, probably.
It's like Jenny Flex.
Holly Goodhead.
I must be dreaming.
Oh, that's Sean Connery here.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one that was.
That's Goldfinger.
Yeah, what was the name? Pussy Galore. Yeah. Was it Sylvia Trench? Like a vagina.
Look, they had some weird names in the 60s, all right? This is how it was back then. If you weren't Pussy Galore, you were the weather lady in that darn cat. The word of the week is go. See you at the beach. Or you're...
Why was Canoe even watching that? He knows that it's California. The surf is fucking up.
He just wanted to see the weather lady in that damn...
He's gonna sit on the floor, eat a sandwich on his belly, and feed pepperoni to the cat.
Hey, your folks are in Venice.
We could have watched that darn cat twice in the span of time it took us to watch this movie.
How long was this movie?
I don't know. 5 years.
What was it?
It's 10 o'clock now, and we started at 7:30, so I guess like probably 2 hours.
Well, it felt a lot shorter than Batman v Superman.
It did have to.
I did like, boy, this is something that you say when you don't like the movie, but it's one of the only things
to, like,
you can
find
say.
A thing to like.
I liked the musical score.
It weren't bad. It was a little like trappy house music-y.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of synth poppy, but I like that a lot. I like synth pop a lot, so I enjoyed it. It felt like the soundtrack if I was watching some like really bad 80s dystopian, like City Limits or some shit. Like, and I was watching it like, I don't remember the soundtrack being quite like this in the other movies. Then again, those movies are so in one ear and out the other.
I think we liked the soundtrack in the first one. Like,
Did we?
I seem to recall we actually brought it up. This one, it didn't really pop out at me. There weren't a lot of like a wow, chug, 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 chug.
No.
So it's just kind of like in one ear and out the other. But yeah, I do recall specifically enjoying the soundtrack in the first movie.
Maybe in this it was just reminding me a lot of Oblivion, which is a movie that I really fucking like a lot. Like with like...
Is Oblivion the one with the mole people?
Tom Cruise?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, so when it was shots like... when they're in Jeff Daniels' office and this like kind of like it's almost practically in the sky and shit like that, like, and the music that sort of went along with there, I was sitting there like, yeah, I kind of like the musical score here, but I really just want to be watching Oblivion right now.
Parts of the movie that I liked, excuse me, was Miles Teller.
Yeah.
He was a delight. Shailene Woodley still super pretty.
She did not give
could not possibly give more of less of a fuck in this movie.
No, she like it feels like so much time goes by before she has a line, even though I know she speaks. Like,
At the beginning, it felt like she left early and they just tried to cobble some stuff together because we were missing some scenes.
Where the $100 million went. I had to recreate Shailene Woodley. so
she spent so much time like in a bubble or covered with goo, so it's easier to CGI replicate her that way.
God damn, like, she does not want to be in this. She wants to be in this about as much as Kristen Stewart wants to be in Twilight. Like, when Jeff Daniels is telling her all this exposition about the damaged and the pure and like all that bullshit, Shailene Woodley is just sitting there.
Sit there with like a 1,000-yard stare, like,
okay.
Sure.
You go back 4. I'm just gonna go with him. All right.
I have to go talk to the council about some stuff. They got me this dress. I kind of have to go.
Yeah, we gotta go talk to Xander Berkeley and I think that was Dana Delaney in the scene. I think so.
It's like the only purpose of that council was to be like, oh no, that guy's totally dicking you over. He's been lying to you from the beginning. Okay, bye. Providence is really pretty. I don't know why we... Okay, can I complain about the architecture in this movie real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Because, okay, if you're in a dystopian future where everything is red and ash and blood except for 2 cities, Providence and fucked up child thief city, I think that, like, probably you've got a couple architects left over, and they're gonna be like, okay, building-wise, I think that we should go for, like, big, bendy, useless turrets covered in, like, floating rings. And you're gonna be like, couldn't we spend that money on, like, infrastructure? And they'd be like, no, floating rings.
That's because
big, giant pool in the middle with a bean in the middle that you land on with your spaceship.
Well, now that's because all the architects died, and the only guy that was left was previously the town drunk. And he pulled
He was trying to draw like a square building.
Yeah. He had the job hat, and he pulled architect out of it, and they just made it work. They've already gotten this system set up.
This fucking Otis from Mayberry.
Yeah. Like, it's like when Dan Aykroyd's describing the building in Ghostbusters. Like, it's either a genius or an inherent wacko.
I think what they did, do you remember, like, the 1990s when CGI was new and fresh and everything was, like, water with, like, a floating silver orb?
Yeah.
It's like they found a couple of those pictures in the archives, and they're like, yes, that forever.
Oh, hell, the poster's like this big spirally, like...
It was just the poster from the loft.
Kinda. Yeah. Not a bad poster. It's more interesting than anything in this movie. Like, I like how fucking quickly Naomi Watts goes evil in this.
Yep. Well, at the beginning, when both of us had completely forgotten who the fuck that character was.
Same here. Like, I mean, I was kind of piecing it together as the movie that... Like, I leaned over to you and was like, oh, it's President Coin, don't worry. Like, I'm all caught up on this right now.
You've seen this movie already?
Yeah. God, between that and the Scourge trials.
The Scourge.
Fuck, like, at least I'll say that this movie was more enjoyably bad than the Scourge trials, which, fuck me, was forgettable as fuck.
Would it have been without Miles Teller?
Without Miles Teller...
Because I'll admit, I had laughed more times during this movie than, like... National Lampoon's Vacation, and it was all because of Miles Teller, the way he was reading his lines.
That was just Vacation. That was not National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh, my mistake.
Like, Miles Teller was really carrying this movie, and he's not even in it a lot.
No, he's like the bad guy, not even the main bad guy, just like the side bad guy where you're like, maybe he's gonna be good from now. Nope, he's a dick still.
Nope, he's bad. Like, he's just
charming.
He just wants another job, that's all. Miles Teller, the musical score. Again, that's all I got. That's all he's given me, his musical score, along with Miles Teller. But yeah, with... there were some pretty unintentionally funny moments in this outside of Miles Teller. I mean, Miles Teller was 90% of it, but there was also shifty-eyed, evil Jeff Daniels. There was weird slow motion, like when they're in that, like, crevice thing, and then the slow motion...
Just like the bad guy just leaning out the car, like...
Jeff Daniels going, no!
That was a fantastic moment. Because
Yeah.
it was right after he'd been like, no, stop, wait, go back, you can't. How dare you? And then she like blew up the thing. He's like, no!
There was so much not giving a shit in this movie that, honestly, I probably enjoyed it more than the last two movies, even though objectively it's worse.
They must have tried to inject some comedy into it, because there were some comedic moments towards the end that I think must have been on purpose. When the two girls are like going through the hallways trying to save four, and they're like,
Yeah.
kinda, like run past the camera, and then the guy's like, oh, I'll get him, and then you hear like, pachoo, and he's like, ah, and he just floats out
Yeah.
like this bubble, like, there we go.
That was kind of funny. That was definitely
Yeah, I think that was definitely on purpose.
Yeah, it was. It was. That was kind of funny. I mean, this movie's, if you find it on Netflix, and you got nothing else to watch, and you've seen the other two, might as well. Why stop now? You're halfway through.
You have to know how it ends. You don't need to watch this movie. Like, even if you've watched the first two, you can just stop.
Yeah, I mean, like...
There's no reason to watch this movie. It's aside from Miles Teller, but we've recreated all the good parts for you.
Yeah, but you gotta see it with your own eyes. I support Miles Teller not giving a fuck in movies. The movie's not awful enough for me to be like, oh my god, fucking skip this at all costs. If you find yourself on Netflix and this is on there and you're like, well, okay.
I want to see what they were talking about.
That would be the only way, because this is not worth going to see in theaters.
They haven't even explained what the goo shower was, and I need to know.
Yeah, again, worth it for Miles Teller coming out, because you know the same thing happened to him. So him coming out going, wow, that was the weirdest shower I ever took.
Just picturing him like, it's in my mouth. Blah.
God damn, he's good in this. Fuck. And plus, I know it's gonna be better than what I have to see here coming up soon, which is God's Not Dead 2.
Am I as excited as you guys are? I'm guessing that yes I am.
About God's Not Dead 2?
About you watching God's Not Dead and then me watching you watch God's Not Dead.
God.
Okay.
God damn, we got so many trailers in front of this.
We have Ben-Hur.
Oh, fuck that.
Which I knew that they were remaking, but I never really saw the original. I've just seen like the pictures of the chariot scene. But from the preview, I assume I know the entire plot of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of different Ben-Hurs. I mean, obviously the Heston one's by far and away the most famous. Like, so it looks like, so here you're taking this perfectly epic film and making it look like something I should be watching on the History Channel. Like a bad made-for-TV History Channel movie.
Like Son of God.
Yeah, or like, even though this movie wasn't that bad, but like, cinematography-wise and filmmaking-wise, it looked like Risen. Which is fine for Risen. It shouldn't be fucking Ben-Hur. God damn, that looked bad.
The Shallows?
Oh, that looked with the shark.
Lady's on a rock and there's a shark. It's like fucking simple, fine.
Yeah,
Lady versus shark wants to get to the shore.
I liked Open Water just fine. Like, yeah, sometimes I like those like really simple idea scare flicks and like, all right, I'm down for this. Probably about an 80-minute movie or so, probably like.
So there's like 3.5 hours of just her versus shark.
Oh, part 1.
Part 1, Shark Allegiant.
I hope it ends with her surfing the shark to like shore.
But she learns the language of the shark and becomes accepted as one of their own. Huntsman and Winter War.
That trailer was so bad.
It was so bad. Like this explains more of the plot than any trailer I've seen for this movie before. It made me much less want to see it than I previously had.
This trailer obviously saw feedback on the first trailer in which people were wondering if it was a sequel or a prequel. So there is twice in this trailer, because this is how much respect for the audience it has. Once at the beginning, once at the end, in which the voiceover flat out tells you it's a prequel to Snow White.
Like, see back before it all began.
Yeah. And then again, at the end, in case your memory doesn't go past 2 minutes, says the story before Snow White.
Which means that, okay, we know that the one witch is gonna win, and we know the Huntsman's gonna lose, and we know his little girlfriend's gonna die, right?
I guess. Like, I actually liked the first one, but I haven't seen it since it first came out.
Because did the Huntsman and Snow White end up boning?
Maybe. I can't remember, honestly.
As, like, it was the only, like, the attractive male lead and the attractive female lead, I have to assume that they did.
Oh, man. I could be totally wrong, but I honestly don't think they did. But I could be so wrong on that. I haven't seen it in, like, since its midnight screenings, but I mean, I remembered liking it.
I remember you liking it, which made me want to watch it. I just never got around to it.
I mean, one of the best parts of the first one was Charlize Theron, like, hamming it up like fucking crazy, and it looks like she's doing that here too. So at the least, like, one, she plays that part really well, and two, Hemsworth is a really likable lead. So it's a stupid ass trailer, but for shallow reasons, it might be watchable. I don't know.
It runs into the Gods of Egypt issue for me, which is that, like, if you've got a movie with, it's like kind of gritty and war torn, where like everyone's kind of playing it straight, and then you got one character bleeding tar and going it's interesting, you know. But if they're all laughing maniacally and bleeding tar, then it's stupid and boring.
No, I got you. In that, like, you wouldn't want every character in Jupiter Ascending to be Eddie Redmayne.
Exactly, because then it's fucking Gods of Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, so Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Did you write that whole title out?
Can you read it? Because I got Miss and then some squiggles and then some squiggles and then children. So I'm just kind of remembering the title.
That didn't look that bad.
Yeah, I thought it looked cute. I've never read the book. It looked kind of Percy Jackson-y in that probably someone was like, these young people, they like superpowers. Let's make a book about superpowers. Throw in some series of unfortunate events while we're at it.
Sweet prequel to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. Well, they remake that movie. They're remaking Ben-Hur.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get a fucking faithful-ass adaptation of that. No, like, that... It's
fine.
a Tim Burton movie, and it looked like a decent Tim Burton movie, which doesn't happen often nowadays.
It's based on a book, so probably I'll go see it. Probably which means I have to read it.
God damn, we got, what, 9 trailers in front of this?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, God. And when you're at a movie that you really don't want to see like this, you feel every fucking one of those 7 trailers.
And especially since the last couple, it was kind of like, oh, I really want to see that. And, oh, man, we're watching Allegiant.
Yeah.
So, Tarzan, starring Skarsgård.
That movie looks like a bomb.
It looks absolutely like a bomb. But it looks like a bomb with shirtless Skarsgård in it, so I am there with bells on.
Oh, and Christoph Waltz playing Belloc from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Why don't you scream so that your husband can hear you?
That could go in several directions. One of them is...
The fact that none of the previews showed Skarsgård from the front emoting makes me think that either A, he's acting so hard that he ruins the movie, or B, he's phoning it in so hard that he ruins the movie.
Oh, like how Tarzan the Ape Man, like, promoted Bo Derek and not Miles O'Keefe. To be fair, she was naked through, like, that whole movie.
Okay, then yeah, I'd promote the shit out of that.
Classy John Derek, as always.
Yeah, I'm so down for Tarzan. I know it's going to be terrible.
Oh, yeah, that could go like, wow, this is actually like a surprise of the summer. Or it could be the Lone Ranger. I'm guessing it's going to be more like the Lone Ranger.
But the Lone Ranger, starring shirtless Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh,
Not seen in the... I guess we haven't seen him since Battleship, right?
I'm sure I've seen him in something since Battleship.
He wasn't Battle of the Year. That was Sawyer.
Yeah.
The other blonde TV, not doing so hot in movies guy.
That's unfortunate. I love Josh Holloway.
He was pretty awesome, and I love Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah. I swear I've seen him in something else since Battleship. Probably. I don't know. I see like 5 movies a week.
He was in the Straw Dogs remake, but that was before Battleship.
Yeah, it was. I think it was.
We can Google it later. Criminal?
That didn't look too bad.
Which one was that?
The one with Kevin Costner and...
Oh,
it looked
okay,
like,
he had Ryan Reynolds in his brain.
Yeah, it looked like...
Not since Ben Kingsley had Ryan Reynolds in his brain.
I was like, wow, this looks like opposite Selfless, kind of, like... And random Ryan Reynolds in it, because he
wasn't even, like, touted during this guy, and this lady.
Yeah, and it's like quite a ways into the trailer that you see him, like, and so at first I was like, was that Ryan Reynolds? And then I was like, maybe it wasn't, because I'm not seeing any... Oh, it was him. Gary Oldman's in that, too. Yeah, I like me some Kevin Costner action movies. That looks like something I might like.
I probably won't be at that one, but it did look like fun. Now You See Me 2.
I never saw the first one.
Nor did I. I think that was Irving and somebody else.
It was Irving and Dave.
Yeah. So, like, that movie always looked interesting to me, least of which because I like Jesse Eisenberg. And I also like a heist movie, and it's like a heist movie with magic in it. But this looked kind of terrible.
Jesse Eisenberg's got a long way to go in winning me back.
Oh, I just watched American Ultra again.
I haven't seen that.
You didn't? Watch American Ultra. It was so good.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I forget what I was at that night. Something Augusty.
Yeah, if I had done a best of last year, a best of list last year, that movie probably would have been on.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Cool.
It was just so good.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I like Max Landis. I like... sometimes I like Jesse Eisenberg.
He's got some pew pew action scenes.
Nice.
They do more than just that. It's just that this means shoot 'em up. So, like, it's got those kind of action scenes that are like flawlessly choreographed.
Oh, okay.
So, and I really like those, and plus it's funny because he's like stoned out of his mind for most of the movie.
Did you like Shoot 'em Up?
Which one was Shoot 'em Up?
Clive Owen.
So the one where he like slid across the ground.
Yeah, I think he did that quite a bit.
Yeah, it's because they're like
kills people with carrots
in a garage, and there's like on like one of those wheelie guys.
Probably. Paul Giamatti was the bad guy. It was like a Bugs Bunny cartoon with like guns.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar.
He's fucking eating carrots and shit, and like Paul Giamatti's like Yosemite Sam. So good.
I like to see Paul Giamatti getting work.
It's final thought. Watch Shoot 'em Up.
Final thought, watch American Ultra.
And Screwballs.
And Screwballs, and whichever Roger Moore movie has Jenny Flex in it. Because that's one of the more difficult to understand James Bond girl names. Because genuflect genuflect is a word for kneeling as if in reverence before God.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh. It's like a Catholic term.
Well, I mean, it is Roger Moore.
Yes. Oh, yes. So much older than me.
Yeah.
Put your wrinkly balls on my face.
Mm-hmm. Only the finest of gods get love scenes with Grace Jones.
So yeah, Jenny Flex is my favorite because it's the one you have to explain to people and then they go,
Wasn't that View to a Kill? Was that Tanya Roberts' name in that movie?
Yes, because that's also the one with Grace Jones in it.
Yeah. Fucking Mayday.
I love that movie and no one else does.
That movie's worth it for the villains.
It is, because Mayday and fucking Christopher Walken, and Mayday like kills a guy during a butterfly show. That apparently they only put in the movie because they saw a butterfly show in Vegas and they're like, yes, that forever.
Perfect. That's what the book was missing. And to watch a fucking 60-year-old Roger Moore wildly inappropriate for this movie.
Were you the one who was telling me that Grace Jones, like, snuck a dildo into the bed with him? Because he had been, like, goosing the other leading ladies?
I think so. Like, because they did not get along on set in that movie. Yeah, there was some quite tension between Roger Moore and Grace Jones. So good.
This is the weirdest final thought we've had in a while.
Yeah, don't watch Allegiant. Stay home and watch View to a Kill.
Watch View to a Kill, that darn cat twice. Screwballs.
Mm-hmm.
And screwballs again.
So Dave and I will be back soon with God's Not Dead 2.
God's still not dead.
uh,
God's alive, we promise. Why won't you believe us?
Don't ruin the twist for me. I haven't seen it yet.
Psych, God's dead.
See it.